The air itself holds a warning. A strange, metallic tang hangs in the humidity, the taste of ozone churned by an approaching storm. For years, the only sound here has been the wind's lonely song through a skeleton of pipes and towers. But tonight, a new sound joins the chorus. A faint, persistent hiss from the corroded seam of a forgotten tank. It's the sound of pressure escaping, of a volatile legacy weeping into the atmosphere. The sky pulses, a low-hanging blanket of bruised purple clouds. Then, a vein of pure, white energy lances down, striking the steel heart of the complex. There is no immediate roar, just a silent, brilliant flash that vaporizes the falling rain, followed by a deep, gut-wrenching thump that travels not through the air, but through the very bedrock, announcing the violent end of a slow decay. Long before the fire, there was the silence. A silence that settled over these industrial cathedrals like a shroud of dust. This complex was once a crucible of human ingenuity, a place where raw elements were tamed, transformed, and shipped out to build a world. The rhythmic pulse of machinery, the shouts of workers, the hiss of pressurized lines, these were the heartbeats of progress. Now, the heart has stopped. The only movement is the slow, inexorable creep of rust, a creeping orange blight that consumes steel girders and erases painted warnings. Rainwater pools in containment dikes, its surface shimmering with an unnatural chemical rainbow. Researchers suggest that the most dangerous phase of an industrial site is not its operation, but its abandonment. The complex systems designed to contain immense pressures and volatile compounds are left to the mercy of time. Gaskets, once flexible and tight, grow brittle and crack. Valves, frozen by corrosion, seize in place. And deep within the colossal storage tanks, a slow chemical ballet unfolds. Compounds stratify, react, and degrade, their stability a ticking clock. The ground beneath these slumbering giants becomes a toxic sponge, absorbing years of imperceptible leaks. Each drop of poison that escapes is a quiet promise of the catastrophe to come. This is a landscape haunted not by spirits, but by the tangible specter of our own forgotten power. The catalyst for apocalypse is often mundane. It begins with a single, rusted bolt failing, or a weld seam surrendering to decades of expansion and contraction. A pinhole leak develops in a tank holding thousands of gallons of a flammable petrochemical. At first, it is invisible, a vaporous plume that shimmers in the air, heavier than oxygen, hugging the ground. It flows like a ghostly river through the labyrinth of pipes and concrete, pooling in low-lying areas, an unseen explosive trap waiting for a spark. The atmospheric conditions conspire. A low-pressure system moves in, bringing with it a volatile charge. The air grows thick, heavy, electric. The first line of defense, the sophisticated monitoring systems and automatic safety releases, are now just dead wires and frozen mechanisms. There are no alarms, no flashing lights, no human intervention to avert the disaster. There is only the escalating tension of natural forces converging on a man-made vulnerability. The hissing grows louder, a clear sign of a structural breach. The invisible gas cloud expands, saturating the air, turning the entire facility into a singular massive fuel-air bomb. It's a perfect storm, a convergence of neglect and nature, a chain of failures leading to one inevitable moment. The lightning strike is not just a spark, it is a key turning in a lock. The superheated channel of plasma makes contact with the steel tank, and in less than a microsecond, the world is remade in fire. The initial detonation is a brutal, physical event. A shockwave, a visible ripple in the air, radiates outwards at supersonic speed. It doesn't just shatter windows in long-forgotten buildings. It pulverizes concrete, twists half-inch steel plate like paper, and obliterates everything at the epicenter. But this is only the beginning. It's a chain reaction. The intense thermal radiation from the first blast heats adjacent tanks, causing their contents to boil and expand. It's believed this phenomenon, known as a BLEVE, a boiling liquid expanding vapor explosion, is responsible for the most devastating industrial accidents. One after another, the tanks rupture, each explosion adding its fury to the last. A terrifying, percussive symphony of destruction. A colossal fireball rises into the sky, a dirty orange mushroom cloud that drags soot, debris, and a cocktail of unburnt chemicals into the upper atmosphere. The fire spreads, feeding on pools of leaked material, turning the industrial graveyard into a raging inferno that can burn for days. A self-sustaining chemical volcano. When the fires finally subside, a new, more insidious phase of the disaster begins. The fallout. The immense smoke plume, a dark stain against the sky, is carried by the prevailing winds, depositing a toxic blanket across hundreds of square kilometers. This is not simple ash and soot. It is a complex mixture of dioxins, heavy metals, and polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, compounds known to be persistent, bioaccumulative toxins. They settle on fields, forests, and rivers, contaminating the soil and water for generations. The immediate landscape is transformed into a monochromatic hellscape. Everything is coated in a greasy black film. The air is thick with a chemical stench that burns the lungs. Waterways run black, their surfaces slick with oil, the aquatic life suffocated. The silence that returns is different from the silence of abandonment. It is a dead silence, an absence of life. Studies of similar real-world disaster zones indicate that the ecological damage is profound and long-lasting. The very building blocks of the ecosystem have been poisoned, initiating a cascade of die-offs that ripple through the food web. This is the true legacy of the explosion, not the twisted metal, but the invisible, enduring contamination of the earth itself. Years pass. The black scars on the landscape slowly begin to fade, not because the poison is gone, but because life is obstinate. The first pioneers of this new world are not the majestic creatures of old, but the specialists of the toxic. Extremophile bacteria in the soil begin the painstaking work of breaking down complex hydrocarbons. Tough, opportunistic weeds with mutated genetics force their roots through the cracked, contaminated ground. Their leaves may be misshapen, their growth stunted, but they grow. They are a foothold. Slowly, cautiously, other life follows. A spider spins a web on a twisted piece of shrapnel. A hardy beetle navigates a patch of discolored soil. This is not a return to what was. It is the birth of something new, a changed ecosystem forged in fire and chemistry. The ruins of our industry do not stand as a monument to our power, but as a testament to our transience. They are a stark reminder that our greatest creations, when left untended, become our most dangerous legacies. And in the profound silence that follows our departure, the final word will always belong to the tenacious, resilient hum of life, which endures, adapts, and ultimately reclaims all that we leave behind. We hope this story was a powerful reminder of nature's resilience. If you'd like to support our work and see more videos like this, a simple like and subscribe makes a huge difference. What are your thoughts on this silent fallout? Share them below.